that's kind of been a thorn in our side all year. And so I think those types of things give you a little confidence. Got to hit throws, got to get some stops, and you got to rebound to win a tournament. And so hopefully we can continue to do some of those things.
Your shooting percentage from the field and from the line, these half of your games has been significantly higher than past early in the season.
Well, I mean, in the last 3 games, we've won, and the shooting percentage goes up, which is pretty common. I mean, that's most teams. I mean, if you're hitting shots, the energy level just goes up. You get better stop. I mean, that's what average teams do. Really good teams, they don't make any difference. They fight through it, whether they're hitting shots or not. But at 16 and 14, we're not a real good team, and so when those shots are falling, it does give us a little more energy, and we did shoot the ball well.
They hit that long 3 going to halftime, but yet you come out with a 9-0 run, so obviously the momentum didn't switch to them. You were able to answer that.
Well, we were worried about that. I mean, they bounced off the floor, and I could tell our guys, we'd hit 6 threes, and we're only up 1. They were looking in their eye like, we played pretty good, hit some shots, and we're only up 1. But we got the ball inside to start second half and hit a couple buckets, and I thought that gave us some energy again. We got we'd get a lead, and then we took a couple bad shots when we got, I don't know what, we were up 15 or 16 there, I thought, for a minute, and had a couple bad shots I didn't like, and kind of let them get back in it. But we couldn't stop them for a while there at all. Brown got to the basket, kind of did whatever the heck he wanted, and then he stepped out, hit a big 3, and so he's a handful when he gets it going. There was a couple of the shots we really contested pretty hard, I thought, and he's still knocking down. He's a talented young man.
Danny, you guys didn't go to Cavell a lot, but he hit a big 3 when they cut it to 4 late.
Well, I thought he hit 2 big 3s. We were struggling a little bit against our zone, and he jumped up and knocked one down. Ethan had the foul trouble, and he stepped up, and then we caught him in transition once, which I think is a play you're talking about, where they got a little confused in transition, and Cavell got a wide open one and knocked it down. So those are 2 big 3s he hit in the second half.
Heading towards St. Louis, where games are so tight, free throw shooting, how happy are you with the improvement the guys have made?
Well, that's really big. I mean, with Antoine knocking down, Cavell's always been a good free throw shooter. Kenny has always been really good. JC has really improved. Since the start of the season, that George Mason game kind of haunted him, and he's really put a lot of time in and hit him. Daryl and Wayne have both improved their free throw shooting. So Ethan's awfully good if we can get him to the line. Casey hit 2 today. It's a surprise that we've only shot 68-69% from the line. I mean, and that's a team that isn't playing well, lost a little edge and confidence, because we shot 75%, basically the same team. Antoine's coming back. Antoine shot 75% last year from the free throw line, and now he's doing what he should be doing. Cavell, like I said, is always good. So we got a good free throw shooting team. We're just finally showing it.
Do you think Antoine putting those in recently, do you think that helps him with his overall game as far as confidence going to the ball?
I mean, he's a sophomore. He in his second year, and we've asked him to do a lot, and our point guard's got to do a lot, and he struggled at times with as much as I've thrown at him. And but he's played well, better the second part of the season, and because of that, we've had better performances. So I like where he's at right now. He needs to keep being aggressive. He's a good defender, and when he takes the ball to the basket, he's pretty good offensively.
Consequently, does that then feed to your whole team as well? Because he's
well, I mean, point guard's got the ball in his hand all the time. Sam's played well for Bradley, and that's why they came in here winning 5-6 or 5-7 or whatever. You look at his stats the last 3 or 4 ball games, he's been really good. And so there's
With Kenny seeing these double teams, he's getting pushed further and further out. How much more of offensive development does he have? How much more does he have to go? Because he's hitting shots from everywhere.
Oh, Kenny, well, as I mentioned, last week when somebody asked about him shooting, I said, hey, if you're the first one to practice, last one to leave, you can take as many damn shots as you want. I mean, if you're open, you shoot it. And he's the first one to practice. He's the last one to leave. I told him he's got to look. And then he goes 6 or 7 or whatever he went. We're not getting him enough looks. We're not throwing it in there enough. But no, you earn that, and Kenny's definitely earned it. It's no different than Booker a year ago. I told Booker, I said, you ever think you got to look, you go. And Ethan today, I got mad at him. His last one was really guarded, but other than that, Ethan's probably been in there second most. So you put in the time, you've earned it. And so I probably won't say much to either one of those guys. Cabell's a guy who put a lot of time in, and I'm sure he felt good about hitting his too. And so, there's a direct correlation there, who's putting in the time and who's knocking them down, no doubt about it.
From a preparation standpoint for these next 3-4 days before you head down to St. Louis, how helpful or harmful is it that you're playing the same team you just played?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Jimmy will change some things up. We'll change some things up. We're both going to put some wrinkles in to try to, to get an edge. They know us pretty good. We know them pretty well. I mean, there's not a lot of secrets. It wouldn't matter who we were playing. If we turned around and played Indiana State or Missouri State, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it'll make that much difference. They'll put in a couple new wrinkles. We'll try to, we had the same scenario 2 years ago, and that game could have went either way, and I'm sure Friday's game, I mean, it'll be a toss-up. Who's going to hit their throws? Who's going to knock down a big shot? Who's going to get a defensive stop? I mean, how many games have we played this year? They've all come down to that, I mean, and as you look at Bradley scores, how many close ones they've had. And today, Marshall hits a shot for Indiana State with 1 second on a shot. I mean, there's just been a lot of close games this year. Maybe you don't see now my old age here, but I just don't remember this many close, last second, and then you look at the standings and everybody's kind of bunched up together. There's just been a lot of close games.
It seemed like you were trying to force them into taking some quick shots. And, how do you, if that was the case, how do you feel that played out?
Well, they had to spread out and they were being aggressive, and they hit some of those quick ones, and then, I thought we had the ball in our end of the court more than they had it on their end of the court in the second half, which is good, especially if we're getting it into Kenny. We had a couple of possessions there late where we stood up and we were rested, we were a little bit out of breath, and we didn't use our depth like we should have, but every possession, I mean, there was one time there, I think they scored 8 possessions in a row. I turned around and yelled at Ice, and, have we stopped them? And we hadn't. So they might have got 8 in a row there, I don't know. Not good for your defensive averages, that's for sure.
Just at a quick glance, you mentioned you wanted to shore up your defense going into the tournament. Is there something particular you can point to?
Well, if you look at points in the paint, it was 32 to 18, and Brown got to the rim, and so, I mean, they're going to look at it and go, we got to get to the rim. We're going to look at it. That's those adjustments we got to make. But, there's no secrets. They're going to look and see what they did well, and we're going to look and see what we did well. We'll try to take each other's strengths away. But when Brown gets 25 against you and 10 of them are in the paint, it's not easy.